Guardian?
Eyes up, Guardian. It worked. You're alive. You don't know how long I've been looking for you. I'm a ghost. Actually, now I'm your ghost, and you? Well, you've been dead a long time. So you're going to see a lot of things you won't understand.
Can Destiny be saved as a franchise? I have a few ideas that might help. Hey everyone, Koro here, back at you again. I am a part-time Twitch streamer and content creator with a bachelor's of game design, offering up my opinion and insight into some of my favorite games and genres across the whole industry. So Destiny and Destiny 2 sit at the top of my most played games list, with roughly 5,000 arrows across all platforms and games. I love this game, and hands down, absolutely would not have the friends I have today without this game. It has shaped me fundamentally as a person and was the reason I went to study games design in the first place. Seeing its rapid decline in recent months has been heartbreaking, alongside the rollercoaster of emotions involved with Bungie's business model and practices. So let's get into this. How could Bungie potentially save the IP and bring in the funding to make Destiny a permanent feature that people will love for years to come? Oh dear. Hi everyone, Editor Koro here. I started making this video a little while before the news came out on Thursday that active development was being ceased on Destiny 2. The update on the 9th of June will be the final update for Destiny 2, and it will enter maintenance mode, and essentially the franchise is being put on ice. This update will come with a lot of features that the player base has been asking for, and I will be going back to experience the game again with my friends before saying goodbye for good. I am, however, going to continue with this video and finish it just in case people want to watch it. There are three major areas in which Bungie, Sony, and Destiny could be made to exist permanently in a sort of holding pattern until they decide what they want to do with the franchise. Step 1. The Content Vault. As most of the gaming world knows, Bungie removed a lot of previous content from the game, and by a lot, I mean you can no longer play the first 3 years of Destiny 2 at all. The campaigns and content that people paid for was removed, and many of the player base resented them for that. But what if there was a way to bring it back? To let players go back and experience the weekly story of Black Armory, play through the Red War, and witness the Black Fleet's arrival. So here's my first idea. The Destiny Launcher. One of the main reasons why this content was removed from the game was due to file size issues and the Tiger engine underperforming with such large tests scenarios. So what if that responsibility was shifted onto the player, depending on what they wanted to play at any given time? If you want to reinstall the Red War campaign, the Forsaken story, even Reckoning, if you were so inclined. What if you could freely install each year, each season, as and when you felt like it? This would allow Bungie to utilize the Tiger engine more efficiently by having each expansion in their own ecosystem before blending them into the launcher and install on launch day. There would need to be the core game install, which would be supplemented by the expansions. This would have the core gameplay, balance patches, world states, such as weekly rotations. But the player can freely swap content out as and when they want. The tower, for example, would exist as an all-installed variations of the game, allowing social hubs to be full of all players. I feel this would take the pressure off the devs in maintaining a large file size game and allow them to focus on maintaining the core game as a whole. As an additional feature, you could also split the game modes into individual installs. The Strike playlist, Gambit, Crucible, these could all be separate modules, allowing players to uninstall Crucible if they are a PvP main, or uninstalling Gambit, because it's the unloved red-headed stepchild of Bungie. This allows players to customize their experience before they even log in. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there was something special about the mock-up of the launcher there. Destiny 1 available to play on PC, which brings me into step 2. Bring Destiny 1 into the PC ecosystem. For years, players have been asking for a remaster of Destiny 1 with 60 FPS minimum, rebalanced gameplay, and a revival of the gameplay loops that felt incredible before Destiny 2's launch. And a lot of people won't like hearing this, but charge players for it. This would fund the remaster and bring something else players have asked for years. a $40 price tag for a game, all expansions and content, and make it all a single package. This influx of cash would cover maintenance costs for the two games for a while, with how many players, both new and old, will buy and play it. So why the price tag? Because whether people like it or not, game dev requires funds, even on reused content. Updates require salaries to be paid, and you wouldn't expect someone to hand you a remastered game just because you owned the previous version a decade ago on a completely different platform. Destiny 1 has undergone a recent surge in popularity, with players yearning for a time when they had goals, targets, and something to chase, reasons to log in weekly, and a much less arcade-like atmosphere in the gameplay. This is what Destiny 2 needs to implement in order for player retention and to make people come back for more. In recent updates, the reward system has been far too lenient and has not offered a challenge to the players. This brings me neatly into my third and final point. Step 3. Fixing the core of the game. The portal. I wasn't quite sure how to voice my issues with the portal in a cohesive and detailed manner, but after a lot of thought, I think it comes down to this. I understand that from a business perspective, the portal makes sense. It's cheap to maintain, and it offloads handcrafted experience into the player's shoulders instead of the detailed love that the devs had building challenging experiences. But therein lies the problem. It feels a bit soulless navigating menu after menu just to end up in an activity. If you're like me, you end up in decision paralysis trying to settle on an activity, then the modifiers. I've spent longer in the menu trying to decide on an activity to play than I have finishing the activity itself. There is something awesome about throwing yourself headlong into the Strike playlist on heroic difficulty and dealing with the challenge and modifiers that you're thrown. Somewhere along the line, the game became less about dealing with the challenge you were presented with and tailoring missions to fit your own build. There was something so satisfying about seeing a heavy surge and a void surge on at the same time, grabbing Deathbringer and wiping a whole room. Or maybe an arc surge and heavy-handed, and watching a Titan thunderclap an entire army into non-existence. So how do you fix it? Well, for starters, bring back weekly rotating modifiers. It was great for random wildcards to be thrown at you and presented with enough of a challenge that players would keep having to fight. Some weeks, certain builds were really broken. Other weeks, you'd be stuck running weapon builds, or you'd be forced to switch it up. It brought a variety and got players to try playing different styles, and maybe discovered something that makes them want to grind for new weapons, new armor, stats, to supplement what they figured out. So we do the same with Crucible. Hell, even Gambit. All activities should have rotational modifiers on them. Imagine hopping on Weekly Reset and seeing Vow of the Disciple with Solar Burn run Golden Gun, completely destroy Rulk, or see an Arc Surge pop up on the Shattered Throne. Just thinking about that is giving me PTSD from Solo Flawless. All those damn Taken Scions. You see Crucible modifiers for Weekly Reset, Mayhem playlist, Solar Burn, watch the Gunslingers and the Blade Barrages reign supreme for a while, even swap those out daily so the next day you see Stasis Surge and all of a sudden the Shadebinders are freezing everybody and destroying a lobby. Even if you were feeling a little bit spicy, throw daily rotating modifiers into Trials of Osiris. SMG Surge, Sniper Surge, Heavy-Handed if you want someone to fist fight in the middle of the most competitive PvP in the game. Like, think about it. But let's get back into this. Now, some of these ideas may seem ridiculous, but they work for player retention. So these fixes, I also feel, would allow Bungie to put Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 into fully replayable and coherent states. But my solution has another hidden benefit. The New Light experience is shocking. I'm sorry, but it is. I understand that it was built to throw you into the heart of the action very quickly, throw exotics and legendaries at you, and make you feel like you understand the mechanics and the loot grind for the game. But it really doesn't work. Bringing Destiny 1 and all of its prior expansions back into the mix allows players to traverse the whole of the story in Destiny for full context. Starting out with their Guardian in the Cosmodrome, waking up for the first time and having grey tier loot, slowly learning about greens, blues, legendaries, and finally exotics, and all the other equipment involved, way down the line after playing. The player then has that character and knowledge and can go directly into the Red War in Destiny 2, giving the player context for the current world state of the game. Players require this context. You cannot create engaging and emotive stories for characters that nobody has really interacted with. Going from waking up in the Cosmodrome into the Pale Heart for the final shape and witnessing the trauma of all these characters that you have known for 4 hours doesn't mean shit to you. But as a player from day one, D1, I felt the emotions of those characters. Seeing Cayde come back, learning about Zavala's loss, all of it hit like a truck. The game also feels different. D1 felt heavily atmospheric, making the player feel lonely and weak against the minions of the darkness. This also came across in the Red War when we lost our light. We, the God-slaying Guardian, had lost our strength, and we felt it, the potential to die our true death. Somewhere along the way, our lives as Guardians became easier. We became so strong that nothing could challenge us, and that really needs fixed in the New Light experience. Players need to understand that they can lose. They may be able to be reborn, but there are measures of failure. Again, this is an incredibly important lesson for the player to learn. Hey guys, Editor Coro back again. This is where I got to when the news released on Thursday about the game stopping. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching if you got this far. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of the video. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite clips from the franchise.
Every ghost is born knowing that we have to find our guardian. We don't know what they look like. Not on the outside, anyway. On the inside, I'd always known who you were, and that together, we could be something more. When you think about everything we've seen, everything we've done, I feel like I made the right choice. And thanks, you know, for being my guardian.